Welcome to the Wrestling Aroundup with me, Terry Peters, joined by my illustrious co-host, world-famous wrestling journalist, Aaron Franklin. Aaron, how are we doing?
I'm very well, Peters. How are you doing?
Good. I'm very good, thank you. It's nice of us two to show up for this wrestling news show because Lou and Ross clearly have other priorities, so screw them guys.
Well,
So
Lou is now not the ever present, is he?
No, he's not. That's very true. He's not the ever-present on the new show,
Yeah.
but he will be back for Wednesday when we're changing things up a bit and we're going to be doing a full watch along of the first Raw, well, not Raw, but brand split from 2002, so nearly 20 years ago that happened, which is mad. Are you excited to watch it?
Always excited to watch some old school
Ric Flair and Vince.
wrestling.
Is it something you've watched before?
Yeah, I've watched it.
I haven't watched it for years, so I'm excited to see how it all goes down. I can't remember. I know there's a hilarious bit though when they're both on the little stand shouting at each other.
The best bit is when Undertaker gets picked.
Yes, that is fantastic, to be fair. But we'll join us on Wednesday when we can relive all this goodness. So we are going to kick things off with the news then. Roman Reigns announces to a crowd in New Jersey, I assume this was on a house show, that he may not be back.
Yeah.
What do we think this means?
It's got to be aware, can it? I mean, I can see both sides to it. So the man's a very busy man. He's been top of WWE now for what, 2 years?
Well, even more than 2 years into it, really. But
I think he's been. Let's say he's over. Been over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Before that, he was probably being forced down our throats a bit too much. But yeah, he's been kind of carrying the.
He's been carrying the whole company on his back. I mean, to be fair, along with the Usos.
100%. Maybe he deserves a break. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe he's planning on taking a break and maybe going into acting.
Because that's the thing. When he says he may not be back, is it that they don't have a New Jersey show for a while? So
maybe
he may not be back. We don't know. We don't know.
I think it's a work, and they're kind of hinting towards a Roman Reigns face turn.
I think people would still react well to him anyway as the face because they're cheering him anyway, even though he's meant to be the heel nowadays, aren't they? So,
yeah.
But I'm sure it'd soon change back again. Like I say, I hope it isn't that he's not far off from being done with wrestling because I still think he's got a lot to give as the tribal chief, to be honest. And even after that, I still think he's got a lot to give. So I hope it isn't that he's just done with wrestling, but I can't see that personally. But you don't know because obviously he's had health issues in the past as well. So hopefully he's all well and good in himself as well. Moving on, we go back to ex-WWE superstars, the Authors of Pain. How I miss those two big beefy boys because they were very good for me. Or in my opinion, anyway, I really enjoyed their work. They're starting their own wrestling promotion, which we believe is the World Wrestling Series.
Something like that. They've gone for two trademarks. Now, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but World Wrestling Series does ring a bell.
Let's see if I can have a quick look. Authors.
Is this? It's just. Are they just jumping on the bandwagon here? Because we'll move on to someone else in a minute. But kind of over like the last year, everyone just seems to be making wrestling promotions.
I think it's a way that I would say it's a bandwagon in the phase of it gets people's names recognized again in the main sort of wrestling world because the Authors of Pain haven't done anything since being released by WWE, which does genuinely surprise me because, I mean, well, you look at them and to me they would fit in anywhere at any promotion because of how the size and stature. I thought they were brilliant as a tag team anyway, to be honest. I thought they were really, really good. There you go. World Entertainment Series, or WES.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So, and that was on the 3rd of May, so just a few days ago. So it'd be interesting to see how that happens. And it'll be the first appearance since this will be their first wrestling appearance since their last WWE appearance on the 9th of March 2002 episode of Raw. Were they on Raw in March this year?
Not that I'm aware of, mate.
I assume that must mean 2021.
Yeah, whoever's done that post is obviously typoed, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they must have done. But like I say, I think in a way it's like, kind of like Control Your Narrative. It's a way to get names back out there that maybe don't want to go to just companies and want to do their own thing just to be a little bit different. And probably, to be fair, it could maybe in a way, if they get good feedback from it, sort of relaunch the careers a little bit.
Yeah, I was never. I'll be honest, I was never a fan of either of them.
I thought as a tag team they were great. I think the problem was they got to the main roster, and I think one got injured, came back, and then the other one got injured, which doesn't help. But I mean, I'm just thinking of control your narrative in general as well, because obviously EC3's not done anything since. Braun Strowman's not doing anything since either, has he? So it just surprises me that sort of people like that haven't had anything else to do since being released. So whether that's a way of doing it, and in a way, I suppose it could all intermingle as well. Maybe interlink, so it'd be very interesting to watch. If Paul Ellerig's there as well, it'll all be okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think Paul Ellerig's got a great mind.
Yeah. So whether he's maybe behind it as well, like in the background, would be interesting. I like to say I hope he is, because I think he was brilliant when he was in NXT with them too. Really, really good. And in a similar fashion, Freddie Prinze Jr. is setting up his own promotion, or appears to be, which we had a little discussion between ourselves, didn't we, this week? And could well be like a Lucha Underground type thing.
Yeah, it does sound like it, doesn't it? Which
it's not something I ever watched. I know Ross really liked it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to this.
Well, he was a lead writer. Was he the lead writer on Raw at one point in that time? He's certainly a writer for Raw, wasn't he?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I know he was certainly on the creative team or the writing team for Raw. I don't know if he was the lead one. So he does have experience in it. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Because I think the thing is now that because of all the talent that's sort of been released over the last 2 years from various companies, it enables these companies to be able to get stars that could attract names to the company and attract a bit of news and crowds and things as well. And like I say, whether they then intermingle, but Lucha Underground was very different to other ones. It was almost like a mini series, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's good for the casual fans.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
It was a bit wacky in areas.
Yeah,
a bit over the top. Like a couple of characters got killed off, and it's more of like fun. Your weekly soap drama.
Yeah. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? And sometimes I think wrestling sort of has lost that a little bit, where the fun has been taken out of it for a bit more serious. So like you say, it could be something to get casual fans back into it. From what I understand, the last series of Lucha Underground wasn't brilliant, but the first few series were. So like I say, if it is going to be that sort of thing, hopefully it's like those earlier series, which were meant to be the better ones. But again, there were some really good wrestlers that got their names out there, because I know Ross has seen some people he would never have heard of from watching Lucha Underground. So
well, again, there's loads of people. Ricochet started off on there, and John Morrison John
Morrison
went across
although
after
although
WWE
he knew his name, again, he sort of relaunched his career a bit, didn't he, before going back. So yeah, again, I'm all for these things if it gets some more names out there, because the thing is, WWE could release these stars, or I say stars, these talent who could become the future stars of the business.
Yeah, well,
they missed it, and these may be the platforms that they need for me.
Yeah, I mean, the rumor isn't that WWE are going to make releases every 90 days.
Yeah, I think what that probably means is see who maybe hasn't developed in those 90 days from the previous 90 that they want to. You know, I suspect it's more of an NXT level up type.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it's good for business.
I mean, it's got to be done, because otherwise you're going to have a massively swelled roster again, and money, although again they've announced record profits this week, they'll still obviously be looking at the purse strings, as they always will, because that's just business, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem when you've got shareholders.
Exactly.
As Vince always says.
But I think the thing is, for me, you might have one or two main rosters in there, but I suspect it'll be your performance center people more than anything. I think that will be affected most by that. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. But like you say, they could potentially go to one of these promotions, make a name for himself, and who knows, could go to AEW, an Impact, or back to WWE after having the careers launched. So I think, again, very interesting to see what happens. And speaking of released WWE talent, Mia Yim turns up on Impact and challenges Deonna Purrazzo for the women's title. I believe she was formerly of Impact at one point. Obviously, because she's returned, but I don't know.
Do you know what? I'm really glad she hadn't gone to AEW.
Yeah, because I think it would have been an easy option for her with
it will. But then you look at the likes of Toni Storm and Ruby Soho, your perfect examples. They went in expecting them to be huge stars, and they've kind of just
is really weak, isn't it? It's something we have alluded to. The women's division is very, very weak in AEW, and Ruby Soho seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. I don't really know what Toni Storm's been doing. If she's done, I think she's been in the Owen Cup, has she?
No idea, mate. I don't keep up with AEW anymore.
I think she's been doing a bit of that, but like I say, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because as well, when she turned up to Impact at the Under Siege pay-per-view yesterday, time of recording, she saved Taya Valkyrie, who was obviously Johnny Nitro's wife, former WWE talent as well. And again, is that where they need to go to, again, get their names well known? Because again, on the main roster, she was part of Retribution, which never really went anywhere. And I think it was a massive shame, because I really liked her in NXT. I thought she was very, very good. And then she got to the main roster and just didn't really get that opportunity, because she's a former Knockouts champion as well. So hopefully, again, relaunches her career, because she's only 33 as well. So she's got plenty of time left in the business.
Do you know, she's made a better decision on what Keith Lee has going to AEW.
Yeah.
What's he doing now? Well, Matt, you can say this about 90% of AEW's off roster. It's way too big.
That's the problem. The roster's way too big, and they've already, although they have got TV, they haven't got as much time as WWE, which is good in some ways, but bad in others, because you can't get all your talent on. And like I say, to me, she's made a better decision going to Impact, back to Impact, where she made a name before, than she would have gone to AEW. But that's my opinion. Other people maybe think that she should have gone to AEW, but I think they're linking quite well, but she will be better off there, maybe just turning up to AEW every now and again. Because obviously we know they do work together. So like I say, whether that's the plan, I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch, but to me, she can get sort of wrestling a lot more frequently there than what she would have done at AEW. But it'll be very interesting to watch. Like I say, again, another talent that WWE probably should have done better with. Well, should have done better with. There's no probably about it. But hopefully, again, can do wonders in Impact. And again, if she turns up, for example, because they're usually a bit fluid, aren't they, on the contracts, Impact, on example, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s promo, Control Your Narrative, Authors of Pain, be interesting to see how it happens, and just do a bit of work which can develop a character in Impact as well, potentially. I think, again, like I say, there's a lot of interesting times ahead with wrestling, because of what is going to happen with all these ex-WWE people's thoughts and opinions on things and what their projects are after WWE. But speaking of WWE, Lacey Evans, she's come back, hasn't she? She's now a face. She's like an inspirational face, where sort of my dad wasn't around, but I've still come out good type thing, from what I believe. I've not really seen much of it, but she was basically shagging an old man before she left, wasn't she, in Ric Flair?
You just do what you got to do, don't you?
Yeah, it's better than getting fanged and banged as well. That was what was insinuated, and that she was pregnant, but she was actually really real life pregnant. Whether they knew it at the time or not, I don't know. But she was a heel, wasn't she, very much before going on pregnancy leave, or maternity leave, I should say. And now she's come back as a heel. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Lacey Evans, because I think, again, she's really, really good. I think
she was pushed way too early for me.
I think she was going to win the women's title not long after she went off, to be honest. I know she went off, but I think she just stayed. I don't think she'd have been far off winning the women's title. So whether that can still happen or not, I don't know.
Yeah, well, she came out the other night. I don't know if it was a house show.
Was it a house show? I thought it was
don't know.
But
it could have been SmackDown. But basically, the announcer was saying cheer for Lacey Evans, kind of thing. Now, is this just really bad booking by WWE, or is this going to be a really, really clever heel turn?
I probably think it's going to be WWE, maybe not thinking the crowd are going to react the way they want to for us, or need them to. This is a bit disappointing, isn't it?
They should have learned from Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
You can't get the fans. You can't push them down our throats and expect the fans to get on board.
No.
You got to let the superstars get over on their own.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? It's a problem, because, like you say, people won't react the way they want to it, and will just boo her, even though she's meant to be a heel and a face, sorry, and an inspirational face at that. And it's not going to go down well, is it? Unless, like you say, there is a dastardly heel turn coming back.
Yeah.
But to me, she was in brilliant shape. It was in absolutely fantastic shape for somebody that's just come back from maternity leave.
You look at Becky Lynch. She looks
exactly
phenomenal, really.
They all. I mean, I know they have to keep themselves in shape, obviously, but like I say, to me, I think she could pick pretty much back up where she left off and wouldn't look out of place whatsoever. And again, I think the women's division is probably crying out for somebody like Lacey Evans, a new face, just to get involved in that mix of people for the title. So I'm hoping that the crowd get on board with it and WWE pull the trigger and let her go for the title fairly soon.
Just it's just someone different in it.
I don't know. And that's it. It's having that different person.
Because I'm sick of seeing Charlotte versus everyone. Charlotte versus Sasha.
Yeah, you've seen it before, haven't you? Like I say,
I've seen it a million times
Lacey
before.
Evans is a little bit different, isn't she? She's a bit more stocky and muscular, isn't she? She looks a bit different. So whether she'll go to Raw, I mean, whether she'll maybe end up on Raw because somebody similar in Raquel Rodriguez is on SmackDown as well, I don't know, or vice versa. That'll be interesting to watch. But maybe getting those two into the women's title picture would be brilliant. But at time of recording, we've got WrestleMania Backlash 2022 this evening. We'll have a quick rundown on the card and do some predictions. So first off the bat, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. Who have you got?
I want Ronda Rousey to win.
I think Ronda will win this.
I don't think she needs to, I think. And I think the fans are going to lose faith in her.
I'm going to go Ronda. I think she'll win this and then hold it above Charlotte and they'll face off in Hell in a Cell.
That's a good shout.
I think that's where it'll go.
So Charlotte can add yet another title onto a pretty long list.
Yep, basically, and then Ronda can disappear again.
I don't think she will. I think she's here for at least another year. Yeah.
I don't know what she'll do after this, but it'll be interesting to watch.
Isn't she contracted until next WrestleMania?
Yeah, but that's why I think she'll win the title now, because if she doesn't, then what does she do?
I think
after Raw,
she needs to go into next WrestleMania with a title.
Yeah, definitely.
Ronda v Becky again.
She might win the Rumble.
Maybe.
Got Cody versus Seth Rollins, a WrestleMania rematch.
Cody.
I'm going to go Cody as well.
Just on the subject of Cody, have you watched the Broken Skull?
No, I've not yet. I've seen that it's about, but I've not seen it yet.
Very good.
In fact, I'm not going to go Cody. I'm going to go Seth here. And
really?
I think, and then they'll do one more as a match of 3.
Hell in a Cell?
Potentially. But I think they'll do a best of 3.
I think they need to do whatever they do and get this Seth and Cody out of the way, and then Cody needs to go for a title.
Yeah. I think
while he's still hot.
I'm excited for this match because he had a really good match at WrestleMania, didn't he?
It's a banging match.
So I'm hoping that they can do something similar this evening. I don't think it'll be as good as the WrestleMania one because obviously you won't have the crowd build for one.
I don't think it needs to be.
But no, it doesn't. But I think Seth will win this and they'll have one more as a sort of a blowout and winner takes all. What happens in the Broken Skull session? Sorry, I cut you off a little bit there.
They kind of go right back to the start. So how we started out, how we got into wrestling, right through his WWE years. So they cover like Dash and Cody Rhodes, Stardust.
Even Legacy as well.
Yeah, Legacy. And they kind of touch on a little bit of him going to Japan and going to AEW. And it's a lot of the shows about WrestleMania.
Right, okay.
But you can just see how much respect both of them have for each other.
Those Broken Skull sessions are always really good as well, out there from the ones I've watched. So, and like I say, with him coming back as well, it'll be massively hyped up. And if it's a good one as well, that's always good to hear the story.
I enjoyed it. I was a good watch.
Is it an honest opinion from him as well?
Yeah, very honest.
That's what you want. That's what you want. Yeah. So if you've not watched that, Aaron's recommending it. So go give it a watch. Then we've got Drew and RK Bro versus the Bloodline in a 6-man tag match.
Why have they done this?
It's a complete waste of time. This is terrible.
Why can't you just put both titles on the line?
It's awful.
I know, I get it's a B show pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a B show pay-per-view, and then there's not only having one title on the line in through the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They've turned what
Terrible.
could have been a decent pay-per-view into what is ultimately going to feel. This is just a house show main event now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Bloodline.
I'm gonna go the other way, but I don't. Roman Reigns won't take the pin. I think it'll be one of the Usos. I think Drew will pin one of the Usos.
It'll be at Riddle for me that takes the pin.
Well, yeah, it's either going to be Usos or Riddle. I think Drew or Randy will get the win.
It'll be interesting to watch, but I think the Bloodline personally on this one. But it'd be interesting to see where it goes from here as well between Drew and Roman.
Yeah, the building now, aren't they? To Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I say, but to me, it's a pointless putting in a 6-man tag match. I would rather watch them in a non-title singles match to try and sort of as like a marker to say, yeah, I'm better than you type thing. But interesting. Another rematch. Then we've got AJ Styles versus Edge. Who have you got? I'm gonna say
I don't know. This is a tough
with
one.
Damian Priest banned from ringside. I'm gonna go
AJ then.
With AJ.
How long is this gonna go on for?
Well, the WrestleMania match went on for.
No, I mean, how long is this storyline going to go on for?
I thought you meant the match. The storyline. I think they'll get this one out of the way, and then they'll start building. In fact, I'm going to go Edge because I think somebody else will turn up.
You think third person?
Ciampa. I think this is where Ciampa comes in.
Good shout.
And interrupts it, and then they'll do one more. And that's where Rhea Ripley turns up.
I was just about to say, has Rhea Ripley got a match at Backlash?
No. So, yeah, she could potentially get involved as well. I think one of those two will turn up and interrupt this match. So I think Edge is going to nick it, actually.
Need to do, like...
Even though Priest is
lights out.
Ringside. Yeah.
Lights out. And then they're just in there in the ring.
And AJ's covered in the black blood or whatever they do these days, like a bloodbath type thing.
Referee's knocked out. All that jazz, yeah.
And Tommaso Ciampa's like a stud above him.
Something
like that. Yeah, I'm all for that. Why haven't
we? Do you know what? If a match ended like that, I would not mind.
No, because the thing is, it's advancing the storyline.
Yeah,
it's advancing the character of Edge and his new faction of what's in there, and
I'll tell you would hate
creating a new character as well.
I'll tell you what would hate it.
Jim Cornette.
No, Dave Meltzer.
Oh yeah, Meltzer will hate it. He'll give it 1 star, but Meltzer can fuck off. Yeah. We all know our opinions on Meltzer on this show. But no, I think that would be, like we've just said there, one of the better ways to end this match, probably the best way 100%. To end it.
Yeah,
and hopefully that happens.
It doesn't need to end in pinfall for me.
No, and especially Damian Priest being banned from ringside, it gives that opportunity, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're pushing him now.
Yeah, I think it's his time, and I don't think it'll be long before he gets a US or IC title, to be honest. Which I won't be mad for either, because I think he's quite good, quite funny as well. And then hopefully this ends soon, and Corbin can go on to challenge for something as well. Mm-hmm. So I do like Corbin. I know he gets a bit of stick, but I don't mind him, to be honest. And this Happy Corbin's character is quite amusing.
No, it's still not as good as...
It's still not as good as Homeless Corbin.
Yeah, Homeless Corbin was the best one.
But to me, he's developed massively from sort of him coming up on the main roster with these two characters. So
yeah,
I hope that he carries on for a long time, to be honest, because I think he's, again, somebody who could be a world star, a world champ at some point because of how good his character work is.
I just don't think he ever will.
I don't think he ever will, but he could be for me. But I don't think he ever will.
Is he one of these wrestlers that does not need the title though?
Well,
like Scott Hall.
That's it, isn't it? Because the character's so strong and and people like him so much. Does he need it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. And last but not least, oh God, Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
Can they just release Omos already? Because he's fucking shit.
If this goes longer than 2 minutes, I'm going to be annoyed.
Have you watched any interviews with Omos?
No.
He's the most boring man.
He needs
to ever sit in front of a microphone.
And I think that's why they put MVP with him, hasn't they?
Yeah.
That's why they put MVP, because he was good. I think he was good. He was all right with AJ Styles because he had somebody there with him when he was on his own. Not great. Now he's got MVP with him.
He's just another great Carly.
Yeah.
Can't wrestle for shit. He's got about 2 moves. He's only in there because he's a big guy.
He's a big lad, yeah.
I don't know where
they're going to go with either of these after this, though. I really don't know where they're going to go.
I think Bobby is going to drop into the mid card, if I'm honest, for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against that, to be fair, if they're trying to build for Clash at the Castle. Get him in there, get him in a few fatal four-ways with Finn and others.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ricochet and others. Again, that's fine with me, to be honest. Yeah, do you know what? Him and AJ might not be a bad match. I know they're both faces, but might not be a bad, because they're both quite, although the different body sizes, are both quite athletic, aren't they? So, well, obviously AJ's, but Bobby's quite athletic as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So they might not be able to put on. So like them and Finn in a triple threat match, because we've had the 2 sweet, haven't we, between AJ and Finn this last few weeks?
Yeah.
So could be something potentially there. But only a 6-match card, so a short pay-per-view. Weird.
2.5 hours, I reckon.
Yeah, just weird. I think it very much is a B-show pay-per-view, this, isn't it?
The kickoff show's only half an hour.
Is it? Mm. Yeah, so they've not even got anything on there then, have they? Yeah.
Imagine even did WrestleMania, but that lasted 3 hours a night.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, it didn't need to, did it? But yeah, Backlash, I think, will be interesting. Very much a B pay-per-view before they move to Hell in a Cell in June.
June 4th, June 6th, something like that.
5th of June in the Rosemont in Illinois.
Chose both dates either side.
Either side. But more importantly, on Monday nights, if you're not following us at Wrestle Around on Twitch, go give us a follow.
Oh, it's Tuesday night.
Sorry. Tuesday. The week starts on Monday, but just go give it a follow anyway. Nothing will happen on a Monday.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday.
Then you're ready then. You'll get the notification.
Exactly. You'll be ready for Tuesday night, where we have Wrestled Out. And the man with me, Aaron Franklin, is the GM of Wrestled Out. And
well, I'm not the GM.
What are you then?
I'm just the owner.
The booker? The owner?
Yeah.
We'll call you the booker and owner. The booker and owner is sat with me. How did we get on this week?
Oh, wow.
Take the floor.
We had Wrestled Out Backlash. What a show. Plenty of twists, plenty of turns, plenty of shocks. So started out. Here's Lou just in time.
Here's Lou just in time for Wrestled Out. On the move as well outside his flat.
Wow.
Oh, Dave, yeah, I thought, I was trying to keep my streak of like being on every podcast episode alive.
I've already alluded to that.
We've only got 10 minutes left, so
there we go. I'll be home.
I'm just coming around the corner, so yeah, won't be long at all. But this is fair enough. What are we doing?
We're just Wrestled Out before we wrap up. So we've got 10 minits left.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, continue. I'll just listen in, but I just wanted to keep the streak alive.
Yeah, it's fair dues.
Cool.
We have slagged you off for it, so don't worry.
Outrageous.
So we started the show. It was Glacier versus Shockmaster.
I'm loving this because
during this match there was lots of chance for Glacier to be released.
Screw those guys.
Yeah, well, Shockmaster picked up the win. Both of these guys were on losing streaks, so it's kind of streak v streak. Shockmaster won. The GM has now declared that if Glacier doesn't win a match up until Wrestled Out in a Cell, he will be released. So he needs to put an end to this losing streak. He's not won a match since debuting, so
is his time up?
Yeah. After that, we had tag team titles on the line, and it was your tag team champions of McAfee and Boogs versus the NWO of Pretzel Guy and Glitter Guy, accompanied to the ring by Terry Peters. There's not much to say about this match. It was an absolute bloodbath, brutal match. Massive shock because we crowned new tag team champions. Is this winning streak down to Terry Peters? That's what the big question is.
I think when the Wrestling Around lawyers get involved, we'll find out when he gets fired and put in jail.
Well, he's technically still not competed. It's just kind of shown his face.
That is true.
So, yes.
See what the judge says. Judge Brett.
After that, we had Bobby Slashley versus referee Daryl Jackson. Not much to say about this because Bobby Lashley absolutely destroyed the referee. For those that obviously haven't been following us on Twitch the past couple of weeks, Bobby Lashley feels he was screwed by the referee to get into the title picture. So he put an end to that. What's next for Bobby Lashley? Only time will tell. We're getting very distracted, Luke, by you walking through.
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's let me mute myself while continue.
Next up, another title match. Legends title was on the line. It was your champion Dave from IT versus Vegemite. Lou was giving some hate to Vegemite throughout the match.
He is a disgrace.
I thought this match was very close. I thought there's a couple of like twitchy bum moments where I thought Vegemite was going to get the pin. But Dave from IT did return. So who's his next challenger going to be? Then we had a triple threat tag team match. It was the NWO of Jarrett and Seven. Not accompanied to the ring by Peters this time. He'd done his job for the night. Versus the Steiners. And a new tag team. Who was that tag team? It was no other than Lizard Lick Towing.
Lizard who?
Lizard Lick Towing. You never heard of it, Terry?
No, but I'm all for it.
Get it Googled. Lizard Lick Towing.
I thought it was Dog the Bounty Hunter.
You did. Lizard Lick Towing absolutely dominated. The last two men standing. They've officially put the tag team roster on warning.
His hair looks like Keith Flint's.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Shaved down the middle.
Yeah.
So after that, we had Stone Cold Steve Harvey versus referee Vincent Fingers. It's Bob Roode. Bob Roode making another appearance.
Just getting set up here for the men's show.
Evening, Bob.
Carry on.
So Stone Cold Steve Harvey comes out. Then Vincent Fingers came out to the NWO music. Oh my God, the NWO have recruited a referee. What's this about? Stone Cold Steve Harvey absolutely whipped his ass up and down the ring. And that's because Vincent Fingers fast counted him the other week. Well deserved, in my opinion. Couple more matches. 4 matches to go now. So we had Napoleon Dynamite Kid versus Ultimate Warrior. Napoleon Dynamite Kid won. And a very, very big shock of the night that was. Ultimate Warrior was furious. Fans were chanting for Ultimate Warrior to be released. Well, the GM has declared that Ultimate Warrior will face off with an opponent of Ultimate Warrior's choice at Wrestled Out in a Cell. And it will be Korea v Korea.
Ooh.
Who's he going to pick? I have my suspicions. But we'll see. After that, we had CM Chunk versus Mr. Melon. This was another surprise win. CM Chunk won. Was not expecting that. Fans were not happy because they was expecting Mr. Melon to get the win. There will be a rematch. Rematch tomorrow night on Twitch for that one. So straight to our first main event was a triple threat match for the Glorious title. It was Ralphus v Bob Roode, and Julius Pringles. What a match this was. I wasn't controlling this either.
Who won?
2 main events I did not control, but this was a fantastic match.
So down to WWE 2K22 lens.
Yeah, it was down to the gods. Down to the gods.
Throw some curveballs as that thing, tell you.
Yeah. As we'll see in the main event number 2. Ralph has retained. So all this mocking of Bob Roode where he's coming out glorious. I think he's officially earned that glorious title now. I think the fans love him. But who's going to challenge him next? Because he's beat Julius, he's beat Bob Roode. What's Bob Roode going to do? He can't be glorious anymore.
We'll have to tune in on Tuesday and find out.
Yeah, we will.
For your main event.
So big main event, this one. So this was for your World Heavyweight title. Elimination Chamber. So don't do things by halves.
Ooh.
So it was. Snakeskin and Bandito started out. Norman Smiley came in at number 3. Mongo McMichael came in at number 4.
Outstanding.
Substandard Warrior came in at number 5. And Cheeks came in at number 6. No one was eliminated between the entrants.
Did Cheeks fit in his pod?
Just.
Excellent.
Only just. So Norman Smiley goes out after Cheeks and powerbombed him. Then Mongo eliminated Substandard Warrior. Bandito eliminates Mongo. Cheeks goes on an absolute rampage through Snakeskin and Bandito all over the place. Cheeks eliminates Bandito with a huge power slam on the steel outside. Snakeskin then delivers a powerbomb to Cheeks, and he answers that by a powerbomb back to Snakeskin. And new world heavyweight champion Cheeks. And that's how the show ended. So we've got a new heavyweight champion.
The title above his head.
Was not expecting it. I'm not I would have planned it, but we'll. I mean, you see, I'm not the booker. I'm just the owner. So
that's very true. That's very true.
We'll go with it. We'll see what the writers have got in store for Cheeks.
And there we have it. Rest sold out for the week. So if you like the sound out, I want to hear more of it. Join us on Tuesday evenings for Rest Sold Out. And
need 17 more followers, guys. Come on.
Do we get to the magic 50? Lou, what do you stream on a Wednesday with the minute and a half we've got left of this call before it ends?
There's only 3 matches, so this will be well easy. Wrestling Federation. Bill Oddie's the new Minor Celeb champ. Terry Peters fucked up in the main event and lost. And he
Damn it.
tagged himself in and then got pinned in the big 8-man tag. And then
it was the one Terry Peters, was it? It was Thierry Peters.
Yeah,
Terry Peters is provided. It was Thierry Peters, yeah. And then there was a match in the middle as well between 2 people.
And
Good stuff.
What's your show called?
Wrestling Federation, Weekly Wednesday Wrestling.
And where can we find it?
Twitch.tv/WrestleRound every Wednesday at 7:30. This week it's WrestleMania, WrestleRoundup.
And that is the Wrestling Aroundup. Thank you for joining us on this whistle-stop tour of the news this week. Lou kindly joined us as well, so he is ever present still. Lou, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Aaron, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening. You can find us at Rest Around everywhere. And we'll see you on Wednesday for the 2002 watch along of the draft extension.